So, have you ever found yourself just lost in the cosmetics aisle? You're staring at this giant wall of products with the names you can't even pronounce? Well, today we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to break down that shopping list that seems to go on forever and figure out what all these things actually do and, why so many people swear by them. Oh, yeah, the famous last words. I'll just be 5 minutes. We've all said it, we've all heard it. But let's be honest, when it comes to makeup shopping, that little 5-minute promise, it's usually just the start of a much longer and way more expensive adventure.
Right? That's the real question, isn't it? How does a simple errand for a few items turn into this epic quest? Well, it happens when you're suddenly faced with a whole universe of options for what seems like a pretty simple task. So let's unpack that list and see what's really going on.
All right, here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with that so-called quick shopping trip. Then we'll zoom right in on eye makeup because that's a whole world of its own. After that, we'll talk about laying the foundation, creating the canvas. We'll even take a quick look at the other side of the bathroom cabinet. And finally, we'll face the music at the checkout counter. Okay, let's start our little journey with the items that you're almost guaranteed to find in any makeup bag. You could see these are the gateway products into the bigger, much more complicated world of cosmetics. First up, the absolute classic, lipstick. I mean, we all know what it is. It's basically paint for your lips in a super convenient little stick. But the magic is in the details, right? The difference between a bold matte look that stays on all day, a super shiny gloss, or just a light tint. It's probably one of the fastest ways to totally change up your look. And next, we've got nail polish. The key word here is really polish. Its job is to add this smooth, shiny, protective layer of color. And when you talk about the color, wow, the options are just endless. It's like a tiny playground for self-expression right on your fingertips. Okay, everybody take a deep breath. We are now heading into what is, a lot of the time, the most complex and intimidating part of the entire store, the eye makeup section. You'd think it would be simple, but the list of specialized tools, this is where things get really, really specific. Now, just look at this list. It's wild, right? We're not talking about one or two things. This is a whole collection of gear: eyeliner and eyelash curler, eyeshadow and eyebrow pencil, and mascara. And every single one of them is designed for a very specific job in a really small area. So let's start with eyeliner. This is all about definition. It can be a pencil, a liquid, a gel, but its whole job is to draw a line that can make your lashes look fuller or create one of those really dramatic winged looks. It's kind of its own art form, really. And let's be real, this is what you hear from anyone who gets dragged along on one of these shopping trips. And you know what? They're not wrong. If you strip away all the fancy packaging and the marketing, you're left with a very specific and, as we're about to find out, a very expensive crayon. So what good is a crayon without some color to fill everything in? Well, that's where eyeshadow comes into play. This is the stuff that adds color and dimension to your eyelids. It can be anything from a little hint of brown to a super vibrant look-at-me blue. And it usually comes in these cool little palettes made for blending. Okay, so this next thing on our list, it can look a little intimidating. If you've never seen one before, you're probably wondering what on earth it's for. Honestly, it looks like some kind of miniature medieval device. And here it is, the eyelash curler. Yep, despite looking like something out of a history museum, its job is pretty simple. It's basically a little press that gently bends your eyelashes up, giving them a curl that makes your eyes look bigger and more awake. Not so scary after all. And finally, we have the product that really pulls it all together, mascara. You use that little signature brush, the wand, to coat your eyelashes and make them look darker, thicker, or longer. For a lot of people, this is the one thing they absolutely will not leave the house without. Okay, let's just pause for a second. Everything we just talked about, all those different products, that was just for the eyes. Now let's zoom out and talk about the product that creates the canvas for the entire face. And that base is called foundation. And the name really is perfect. Just like the foundation of a house, this stuff creates a smooth, even base on your skin. It helps even out your skin tone and texture, and it creates that flawless canvas to work on. Of course, finding the perfect shade can feel like a lifelong quest. Now, it's pretty easy to frame this whole conversation around a typically female shopping list. But personal care, it's not a one-sided thing at all. So let's hop over to the other side of the bathroom shelf for a minute and look at a comparable list of grooming products. So on a typical men's grooming shelf, you're going to find a different set of tools, right? You've got razors, aftershave, cologne, hair gel. The products themselves are different, sure, but the goal underneath it all is often the same, to create a polished, put-together look. And this actually brings up a really interesting point about just words. We've got perfume and we've got cologne. Functionally, they are exactly the same thing. A scented liquid you put on your body. But culturally, we've drawn this line in the sand where perfume is for women and cologne is for men. Same product, totally different marketing. And that brings us to our final stop, where our whole shopping trip comes to its inevitable conclusion, the checkout counter. This is the moment where the reality of all these specialized products really hits you. I mean, let's just be honest about it. When you start adding up the cost of each lipstick and eyeliner and foundation, the grand total can be genuinely shocking. The word outrageous definitely comes to mind, and for a very good reason.
And boom, there it is. The moment of pure sticker shock. $30. Not for the whole basket of stuff, but for that one little eyeliner pencil that we were just joking about being a crayon a few minutes ago.
This quote, it just says it all, doesn't it? It is that exact moment of surrender at the register. After the long search, after the sticker shock, sometimes you just have to give in and accept the ridiculous price of that stupid crayon. So at the end of the day, whether your bathroom shelf is packed with dozens of these things, or it's just got a simple bar of soap, they're all just tools. They're tools we use to present ourselves to the world, to feel a little more confident, or to just express some creativity. And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. What does your own personal routine say about you?